Good morning. Got some devices on this morning. I didn't bother with incense because I'm running low. Welcome
No.
back to the Paranormal Laboratory. TZ says no. Don't welcome yourself back to the Paranormal Laboratory. But good morning, guys. Welcome to the Paranormal Laboratory. I am Tobias Josephson, and this channel is Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. And this is the channel where we approach the paranormal differently. So, good morning. Today we're not testing ghosts as usual. Today we are talking about testing investigation and investigators. And then come next week when I return after my vacation after tonight, we will have a completely different topic line to jump right back into. Sorry, I just combed my hair, so all right. All right, so today we are running some more experiments tonight. One using containment over chaos, evidence over egos. The second experiment, we will use escalation investigation, fear driven narratives, etc. The click
Yes.
the click
Yes. Yes.
the clickbait, as we like to call it. I've started to notice something strange doing these investigation experiments. And truth be told, anyone out there doing investigations is experimenting with the paranormal. In fundamental, basic reality, that's what we're all doing. Because after years of doing research, getting into investigation, learning the ropes, working with people, etc., 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 I've begun to notice something strange. The more afraid people seem to be, the more paranormal activity they seem to get. And the calmer people are, the quieter the investigation becomes sometimes. So the question is now, are we as investigators and researchers and hobbyists and whatever is out there watching today, are we
Yes.
really finding paranormal activity? Or is the fear changing the environment and the investigation entirely itself? Today, we're going to talk about how fear may be affecting evidence, and tonight, we're going to test it again live with 3 different experiments. Most paranormal investigators are done in the dark. Most investigators try to make the environment feel scary before you even arrive. They'll turn the lights off. They'll go to locations that already have stories, lore, legends, history. By the way, happy spring equinox out there, anybody who celebrates it. It is also known as Ostara. All right. This is the day where it is said that the light and the dark are almost in complete balance today. And so that is what we are celebrating. All right. Come Sunday, we'll celebrate a different type of holiday, very closely related, called Easter. Both are focused around rebirth. Both are focused around regeneration. Both are focused around balance. All right, I'm going to turn the camera and show you guys the altar for later. I can't dawdle today because I have somebody coming over to work on the house. So, won't be taking too much longer, but there you are. Let's see if I can get a better
Yes.
view.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
there you guys go. There is the Alstara altar, and you are facing it the way I would be facing it. All right. So, We did miss some evidence here as I was turning the camera. I believe he said no, no, no. So let me get my coffee out of the way. And we are going to bring Mr. Epoch Box over here where you guys can see him. Please pay attention to the three lights as well. Say good morning to our friend. Good morning if you're just tuning in. So tonight, most paranormal investigators are doing it in the dark for the most part. Most investigators will try to make the environment feel scary before you even arrive. Okay? They'll turn the lights off. They'll take you to locations that already have plenty of stories, makes it easy. It's easy to sell that. They'll talk about spirits, they'll talk about demons, they'll talk about what happened before they even start without anything happening, without anything being turned on. And all of that does something to your brain. It puts the mind into a state of fear and expectation. And when the brain goes into that state, it looks for patterns. Your brain will start reacting to sounds. Yes, yes, yes. Your brain will start filling in the gaps. You'll see shadows in the doorway when it could just be a reflection, casting a shadow from a headlight. It could be some. Your brain will start assuming something is there everywhere. It'll be a sound, it'll be a person, it'll be a shadow, it'll be communication. You'll start tensing up. Your brain immediately starts going into fear and expectation survival mode. So, what if the investigation changes? Because the investigator changes. Psychology tells us something very, very, very important. Fear makes the brain react faster. Fear makes sound seem louder and intrusive. Fear makes shadows seem darker, and fear makes random noise feel intentional and on purpose to everybody. Fear makes coincidence feel like communication or a message. And when you combine fear with paranormal equipment, and on top of that, every light, every sound, every flicker starts feeling like proof and evidence. Do you think fear makes investigations stronger or less reliable? Remember the question at hand here. Do you want reliable, credible investigations and evidence, or do you want to look like everybody else? We can't answer that for you. Do you think fear makes investigations stronger? Some people will say yes. Some people will say no. Hands will go up everywhere. Because tonight we're going to find out. Thank you, TZ. Here's something most paranormal channels, most paranormal investigators, most paranormal researchers don't talk about. We test spirits. We test locations. We test devices. But we almost never test ourselves. We assume the investigator isn't affecting or can't affect the environment or the investigation. But what if the investigator is the biggest variable in the room? Whoa. Lean in closer. Think about subscribing if that one hooked you. It should have. What if fear creates more activity and that's
Yes.
all there is to it?
Yes.
Anybody can do that, right?
Yes.
Thank you, TZ, for conferring. What if fear actually just creates more activity? Not because the spirits or TZ is reacting stronger, but because we are. Because our human brains are reacting differently. Tonight in the Paranormal Laboratory experiments, and we'll do three, one with containment, one with what everyone else does, driving the fear, chasing this thing
Yes.
down, asking him repeated questions, making faces at him, being belligerent, being loud, just to see if it's going to affect the device or not. And then the third one will be absolute silence. We call it just observing. No questions, no interrogating, no reactions. We just sit here just like this. Last night, I even left the room. All right. And as I did, it said no. And as I sat down, it said no. So I could have affected the device, possibly. So tonight in the Paranormal Laboratory, we're going to try something different. We're going to try to change the emotional state of the investigation together during the experiments and see if the results will change. We're going to use calm versus fear, containment, and then escalation in the second one. Controlled versus tense, same pretense. Relaxed versus expected activity. Experiments one and two are focusing on these stark differences on purpose. Same room, same devices, same investigator, different mindset. If fear does change the investigation, we should see that variable tonight. Same room, same devices, same investigation, same investigator, but we're going to try to remove the emotion. Do you think fear makes ghosts, spirits, demons, mimics like this stronger, or aliens in TZ's case here? Do you think doing that makes them stronger? Or do you think fear makes investigators feel like they're controlling? Makes investigators react more? I think it's the latter. I think the escalation tactics only make the investigator feel like more is happening, when in reality, it's the investigator causing the escalation. Think about it. If there's one person doing it, and then you have a room full of people all doing the same, all expecting psychologically, all needing to see something or else, what do you think that does to a room? That changes the environment, especially if they're taking you to a place that everyone else goes day in and day out and day in and day out. It's just trying to capitalize on a story. That's it. That's all they're doing around you. Convincing all of you that you need to be there, even though thousands of people go there every day. But the pretense is that every day people are scared shitless, even during the day. Possibly. Do you think activity depends on the mindset? That's a very important question. Let's ask it again. Do you think paranormal activity truly depends on your mindset.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree as well. TZ says yes, I say yes as well. Have you ever felt more scared than a situation deserved? Say something startles you. That's a good example. You're doing your own thing, you're driving, somebody almost cuts you off and hits you. It startles you. What happens? And then you immediately, all right? And you might chase that person down, depending on how your road rage is, right? But there's a good example. Did you ever feel more scared than the situation warranted because it caught you off guard? That's exactly what's happening in the paranormal investigation field. That's it. It's storytelling. And you're all buying it hook, line, and sinker without giving the devices, without giving the location a chance to show you real activity. The fear driven narratives is what sells. Even this algorithm says that. If I use adrenaline spiked thumbnails, more people will click on this channel. If I do thumbnails and dress up and do all that, it'll get people's attention faster. But I don't believe in performing for an algorithm. That's not what it's about. It shouldn't have to be. This platform is huge. People will find us naturally, in my mind. You don't promote, you try to get people attracted to what you're doing. Right? And with what we're doing, it's not a very popular niche in the paranormal field. And so it is like the hare and the turtle, and we are the turtle. We are going to cross the finish line, and that's just the way it works. Everyone else is running like the Boston Marathon. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of people with paranormal entities on their back, and they're all running, bumping each other, elbowing each other, pushing each other over just to cross the finish line first and get the most clicks, get the most views, get the most followers, and get the most money. And that's all they essentially care about. Not all of them, but some of them. All right. So guard yourselves with knowledge, guard yourselves with your logic. Use your intuition. Do you think those people are telling you the truth? You don't have to tell them out loud what you think. You don't have to. You can, but it doesn't work. I've tried. All right. So have you ever felt more scared than a situation deserved? Yes. When that deer came through the windshield, I was just like, ah. And then I tensed up. But the accident was already occurring by the time my brain figured out what was going on. And the fastest thing it could do is tense up. It's an involuntary almost reaction when that happens. That is what most of the paranormal field is cashing in on. The fact that it is so easy to convince people, right? That expectation is what sells the clicks. If you ever watched one of those shows and then you left it going, well, that wasn't as scary as it looked. It's kind of like a horror movie. Everything looks like it's the greatest, best episode of the year. And then you click on it and you're like, oh my God, there was like 5 minutes that was worth watching. You understand what we're trying to say here, guys? Do you think that the activity depends on your mindset? Totally. Especially if you're an immature investigator who only wants to get rich quick. Of course. Of course. I would do that too if I was one of those folks. Right? But I just happen to not believe in that. I believe in having integrity, respect, confidence. And to me, that's more important than looking flashy, sounding flashy, and busting my ass on all algorithms and social media apps just to get an extra click, just so I can try to convince them that the escalation is real. That just doesn't interest me. That's so many extra steps. Why can't I just get up here every day? We do our thing authentically. We say that authentically in this manner. No one else in this field is doing anything quite like we are doing. Yes, we're all experimenting with the paranormal per se, But as testing ourselves, not very many people will do that. Goes against the grain. But somebody has to start looking at the what ifs in the paranormal field.
Yes.
So, reminder quick before we slow down and walk our way out this morning. I will be taking an official 7-day break after tonight's 8 o'clock experiments. That means no lives, even Thursday, member, at 2 p.m. on Patreon. Thank you, Chris, for tuning in. But I need a break. Okay. I've been doing this pace, this routine, plus working, and I know people might not call it working out there, but when you're using your brain to build something and it's 20 hours a day of thought and effort and thinking and collaborating and networking, it is working. It's just I'm not getting paid for the passion. The passion eventually will catch on. People will start clicking on this channel. We will be going to hunts, etc. People by the end of the year will know who we are. All right, at least, if nothing less. And so patience goes a long way sometimes. Right? Should investigations be done calm instead of scared? Not necessarily. The point is, yeah, to have fun, get creeped out, and get scared, but to try to trick the system is wrong. That's what everybody is doing. You're buying a subscription on an app, you're making thumbnails that drive fear, and you're charging people a couple $100 on top of that to go see you and your friends or whoever, right? So the point is, yeah, it's exciting. You're in a dark, dilapidated place. It has history, has story, has blood, has gore. Right. Why can't you allow the place to introduce itself to you instead of kicking in your door like you're the paranormal police, doing door-to-door searches? Doesn't that seem a bit rude? If the spirits are minding their own business and we're just kicking in the door like we're some kind of, paranormal judicial team, and these spirit realms just have to acknowledge our authoritative responses. And that's not true. That's performance. That's storytelling. That is sensationalism. That is so far away from paranormal investigation. In fact, you're running the other way. Because how do you know you're getting any credible results or evidence or anything if you're just constantly, "Ah, you are mine, maggot, you're gonna do what we say when we say, let's turn all our devices on." Lights going on and can't see. They don't like it. I'm surprised that the algorithms even allow the fear mongering CTR clickbait, because it's very clearly on purpose. On purpose. To do what? Show someone your hobby? That's great. We can all do that without acting. We can all show each other everything without rubbing everything in each other's face. Humanity has to be in front of the person behind them. That's just the way we are wired. Remember that going forward. When you're looking at a paranormal team or you're watching an episode, you're watching a podcast here, you're watching a Netflix show, remember that. Remember the pattern. This is why we call this the Paranormal Laboratory. Because we have to push the envelope. Or it's just going to get more sensational from here. For what? For places that have long track records of stories and histories. Anybody can do that. Right? Anybody can fib. Anybody can exaggerate. Anybody can tell a white lie. But is that the right way to use investigation?
Yes.
Oh, I like you. I don't know what you are, but I like you. Um, but that's why we call it Paranormal Laboratory, guys. Our investigation processes are only going to get better if we want them to. We can wear tutus and dresses and orange wigs, and we can have smoke in the background and start lighting pyrotechnics for our podcast. We can keep doing that. We can keep adding all those bells and whistles, keep buying all the equipments, or we can slow down. We can give these things the respect and the dignity some of us believe they deserve. They're not a doll. It's not a spectacle like Annabelle. These things are not for that purpose. They're not for monetizing that way. They're really not. They're here to learn from, to talk to try to get education on, so we can try to figure out what the fuck's going on the other side of the veil. Instead of going, we're going to Penhurst again. Anybody can do that. Anybody. It's one of my pet peeves. Everywhere I look, anyone can do that. It's so easy. What else you got? Okay? It's time we start turning a page in the paranormal investigation scene. Because these chapters all look the same. I turn the page and every entity, every company, every Facebook group looks the same. All of them. You all look like one another. Why? Similar, but you're all doing practically the same thing. There's a thumbnail. There's a fear driving. It's all about the clickbait. It's all about share dumping. One group, two groups, three groups, 10 groups, 15 groups, and then you repeat every day. For what? What about the people that are following you? Don't you care about the people that are following you? You don't care about their lives? You don't care about how they're feeling? You don't care about how they got into the paranormal field? You don't care any of that. You just want that click. That's what the paranormal investigation scene is about. It's a popularity contest. That's all that matters to humanity. A popularity contest. That's disappointing from this investigator's standpoint. You're not showing anyone your authentic investigation, research, knowledge, skills, or otherwise. You're just copying what someone else is doing next to you. Different clothes, different name, same behaviors. It's the behaviors that make the difference, right? You're going to want to be around somebody who isn't always a know-it-all, who always keeps an open mind. I'm not a know-it-all. I'm not the end-all be-all of anything. Witchcraft, paranormal, humanity, nothing. I'm here to learn with an open mind, and even I can be mistaken. I do it every day, all day long, and I don't take all day to do it. No. Being a paranormal investigator is less about superiority and more about research, personal knowledge, personal insight for ourselves. Should be, anyway. It should be a passion, not a meal ticket. It should be about the one-on-one human experience, not the fame and fortune that takes 2 decades plus to get to. And you sure as hell don't do it by walking on people's faces. Okay? That is all escalation investigation behaviors. And we're not here to call those entities out, whether or not they call us out or not. That's none of my business. My DM's always open, friends. Always. That's why. If people disagree with me, I like to talk it out with people. And if we still disagree, we part ways. There's no sense in being immature in this field. None. Doesn't get us anywhere. The immaturity has caused the drama. That's it. Okay? I would like to investigate maturely. I don't know about the rest of the world. All right. But if you agree, all right, thumbs up. All right. Because I think it's getting a little ridiculous. How many machines do you need turned on? How many bells and whistles do you need? How many episodes with a fear driven thumbnail do you need before you're satisfied? Do you really need one of these things to come out and do something to you that you're not ready for just because you have to be seen or heard? That is not what we're here for, my friends. We're here to try to study what's going on with this phenomena. That's it. Not, not to bash each other in the face or throw rocks at each other or whatever else people are doing all over the internet. That's why you won't see me on social media much anymore. Something has to give. I'm not the one moving. I'm staying focused. More people should try doing that. Should investigation be done calm instead of scared? Yes and no. This is why we call it the Paranormal Laboratory, because we're not trying to prove what we believe like everybody else, but simply to test anything that might be affecting our results as paranormal researchers, investigators, content creators. Go down the gambit. So tonight, we're going to test fear itself. And we will see what happens to the investigation when our mindsets change. All right, guys, what'd you think? Got a lot out of that? Hope so, anyways. All right, don't forget tonight will be the last live for 7 days. All right. So I'll be doing a lot of things around the house in this office here, etc. Working on the book that I'm going to write, even if it kills me. All right. So I had to carve out time for myself. No. Yes, I did. Thank you, though. I had to carve out time for myself so I can reset my energy. All right. And that way we can go into the summer and the spring. Sorry, the spring and the summer. All right. Bushy tailed and bright eyed and ready to go. I've been doing this schedule for about 3.5 months now, nonstop every single day, except for a couple days. All right. That's a lot of effort on my behalf. So, that being said, I would like to formally tell everyone out there I do appreciate you, whether you're a social media friend or otherwise, that you give us this time this week to just kind of let spring yawn. Okay, as far as Paranormal Witchcraft LLC goes. All right, we're going to be taking a week off, getting some stuff done around the house, getting myself regrounded, letting my energy build up without being pulled away daily from some entity or some person, etc., etc. Okay, so I do appreciate that. Those people who do know it's coming, awesome. Please try to let everyone else know, but not many people are paying attention, so it really doesn't matter to me if you do or don't. People will figure it out. One, it'll reset this algorithm too, and social media algorithms by taking a break from everything. Two, gives me time to come up with different topics that we can hit the ground running from in a week. I think this arc has probably gotten as much attention as we can get. Um, the numbers as far as shares and whatnot are just kind of plateaued, which means there's a lot of people that are like 20 and 30 with no attention spans, is what that means. And so people get bored really easy. And so I think what it is we're going to stick with a topic for a week instead of 2 weeks. Okay. Actually, this has been about 2.5 weeks we've been doing this. And so if you look at human nature, all right, people can stick with you for about a week and then their attention span drops off. They go to the left, they go to the right, they go backwards. I don't know where they go, they disappear. All right, that tells me people have a problem sitting long enough. Even a half hour is too much for some people. Okay, so that's nothing bad. Okay, because I'm a dual diagnosed, probably triple diagnosed person. I understand that, is what I'm saying. All right, and so I think changing the arc up is a good thing, but instead of 2 weeks, I'm going to be changing it to once a week. All right, and that way we keep everything fresh, we keep everything beautiful, we keep everything hooking and engaging. Yes, we do, TZ. But I'm going to turn off this EMF over here. I don't think anything happened. Feel free to say goodbye to Creepy Doll Hal over here.
Hey there, friend. Welcome to the fun. We've got fun, games,
Kind of looks like a possessed little doll, don't it? If you just look at those eyes, it has that Beelzebub yellow gold look from Exorcist almost. And I think that's why I like it. And then it has that smile where it's just, and I like that. Pretty creepy. Let's see what kind of comments we got because I saw some people in here. TZ said to me, I know you like he has known me for a while. A peaceful moment. Interesting. I think it is alien, and I think it's trying to say alien as in not from Earth, but maybe it doesn't like the term alien because that's what humans keep calling them is alien. To them, they are who they are. All right, they're a lizard type, or they're an insectoid, or a mantis, or a gray, or a tall. It doesn't matter what they are; is what they're trying to say. We keep calling them aliens, 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 NHI, all that stuff. How do we know that's insulting to them? We don't. Okay. What if that's discriminatory and we just ignorantly don't know any better as humans? That's why I try to treat these things with utmost respect because we really don't know what's going on somewhere in here where we can't talk to this thing, right? It's not willing to manifest any further than it is right now, and we have to accept that, right? So instead of chasing these goddamn things all over the place and trying to protect ourselves from them before we even meet them, why don't we try to show them a little bit of respect? Show them that humans do have some intellect, do have some integrity left, do have some respect for each other left. Might be a more positive message. Instead of calling them alien, why don't we just call them simply visitors? We don't know what they're doing here. We don't know if they've always been here. There's so much about the ufology we don't even know, okay? So chasing these things down with fear narratives probably hurts their feelings for some, upsets other spirits. And then, of course, the possession cases that do happen are probably more truth be told than not being affected like individuals doing that. I'm not afraid of you. Fine, now I'm going to possess you. Right? That's what the shows, that's what the episodes aren't divulging to the public. Is that occasionally, if you don't treat these things with utmost respect, they will, well, they'll destroy you. It's what they do. So I don't think trying to launch a grenade launcher at a spirit, a demon, a ghost, anything is the way to investigate. I'm sorry if that looks like way, 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 way overdoing it to this investigator, but it does. We kick in their doors day in and day out, from place to place to place to place to place, and we're loud and we make a mess. We bump into things. We mess up their peace of mind, whatever it may be. And yet we can't help ourselves to just go after them. We can't help ourselves but to be the alpha in the universe. And we're not the alpha, we're more like the ants. So remember that, guys. There's a pattern. And once you figure out the patterns, you can change the pattern. Have yourselves a beautiful day. I am Tobias Josephson. We'll see you at 8 o'clock for the experiments right here on Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. And this is where we approach the paranormal differently. And tonight, for the experiments, you'll have to come back to see what happens. But tonight, we're testing fear itself. Let's take some comments now. Truth Tarot, how are you? Dark Light Pyre, welcome back again. Tons of fear, anger, and lust. Yes. Yes, that's all it is. People are using the report button now like a block button. Nothing you can do about it. Just got to let that phase go. And if I lose my social media presence, I lose it. There's nothing I can do about it, guys. It's just the state of the world right now. If you look at the news, it's no different. So don't feel bad for someone like me because I'm authentic, because I'm not afraid to speak up for myself, because I'm not afraid of being a confident person. And no matter what I'm doing, it causes a lot of people to not like you. And that's just the way the world works. What I'm practicing now is not ignorance in my silence. All right, it's strength. Remember that. Sometimes saying less is more. Have yourselves a beautiful day. Thank you once again for tuning in, Nikki, Chris, Rebecca, and whoever else may find this. Thank you so much for the thumbs up. We might actually get a little spike out of today's lives. But that being said, please remember that we will not be back until the 27th at 11 a.m. after tonight's lives. So you're definitely not going to miss it. Have yourselves a beautiful day. I love each and every one of you for showing up. I love each and every one of you for sharing if you are. And I love each and every one of you that have subscribed. Thank you for tuning in once again. Have a great day.